Peace and love, family. It's your girl Yinka, your favorite womb goddess, and I am back with another video teaching the girls how to tap into their goddess energy. So if you are new to the page, welcome. Go ahead and pull up. Don't be scared. Go ahead and pull up. I appreciate you for watching this video and much gratitude for you trusting me with this information. I do not take that lightly. If you are new here, I help women balance their hormones naturally and help you to tap into your goddess energy by using holistic methods and African spirituality. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and put the notification bell on so you don't miss this content. So today we are talking about, as y'all can see, we are talking about identity switching. Some of you may have heard this before. As far as switching your identity, you may have heard of that terminology before, but you may not understand what that actually means. So I'm going to break down what identity switching is, the benefits of it, and how to actually do it. So that is the intentions of this video. Hit a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content. If you learned something today, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So the very first thing, and I have my notes here by the side, y'all, if y'all see me keep looking down, but the first thing that when it comes to switching your identity, what is an identity switch? An identity switch is pretty much what it sounds like, switching who you currently are and changing it into somebody else. You see this without it being directly called identity switching. You see this when, say, you see somebody who's considerably lame in school, they go to college and then they're just popping. That's an identity switch. You see this when somebody's in college and then they go into the job force and they're a completely different person. That's an identity switch. You see this with celebrities when, like, say 2 Chainz, for instance, like I don't know why that was the first person that came to my mind, but 2 Chainz, for example, he started off as being Titty Boy, and now he rebranded himself. He identity switched to now being 2 Chainz. This is what you call identity switching. It's just rebranding who you are. The same way a business can brand itself in different ways, you can do the same thing with your avatar. And when I say avatar, your human body is just your avatar. A lot of times we get confused, or we don't really understand or utilize the fact that this is just an avatar. You are not your body. You are not your mind. You are a spirit first and foremost. And that is who you are at the core. So when it comes to this avatar, you can switch it up a million. I know Black women, if nobody knows how to identity switch, it is a Black woman, okay? We switch our hair up. We switch our nails up. We switch our looks up all the time, frequently. It's just naturally within us. But anybody can identity switch, man, woman, boy, girl, whatever you identify as, whatever race you are, whatever. Everybody can identity switch. So when it comes to who you are, you do not have to settle for who you were born, the environment that you were born to be in. You do not have to settle for the circumstances that you have been in. That is not who you are. That is just a part of your journey. You always have the ability. You can always gain the will to be able to change your life and your circumstances and how people see you. Just look at it as a rebrand, okay? Just rebranding. So the benefits of identity switching is pretty much you get to start over. You get to start over. A lot of times when you see people move to a different location, they rebrand, they identity switch. Nobody knows you from back home, so I get to start over. Essentially, I get to start over when people are getting their body done, when people get their makeup done. They essentially are changing who they are. Like, that's why you hear a lot of women say, when I switch my hair up, what Meg say, change the wig and make them think you switch the wig up so they can think you cheating. So he think you cheating, something along those lines, y'all. Don't quote me. But yes, that's essentially what you are doing. You're switching it up. People get into different characters when they have different hairstyles, when they have different egos, so to speak. Like, they dress a certain way. I know for me, like, I got a few different personalities. You can get the real chill me. You can get the educational me, where I'm teaching. I'm in study mode. You can get the activist me, where I'm advocating for people and women of color and things of that nature. You can get a lot of different versions of me. You just gotta peel back those layers, right? But who are you at a core? How people see you can always be changed. People see you the way you see you. So if you start to switch up how you see yourself, the world would do nothing but follow. So let's get into 4 ways to switch up your identity, or the process of switching your identity. I wish I knew how to edit because I would be like, picture right here of me at the beginning of 2022. I have done a completely different, I've completely switched my identity in 2022. And I did it in 2021. Again, I moved to Texas in 2021, at the beginning of 2021, and I completely switched my identity in that way. And then 2022, the physical showed up first. So that goes to show, well, we're gonna get into it. So number one, when it comes to switching your identity, you have to be able to identify who you want to become. Let's go back and look at how we currently present ourselves. What are some of the things that we don't like about ourselves, and how do we want to change that? You might be someone who people might think you're loud. People might think you're super quiet and introverted. People might think you are, not attractive. People might think that you're not that fun. What are some things about yourself that you don't like about yourself that you would like to change? Or how do you want people to perceive you? Because it doesn't have to be a physical change. I always say identity switching comes from within, because you have to change who you are at the core for it to exude out in the outside. A lot of people get caught up on the aesthetic of identity switching, but I want you to understand that it is not about the aesthetic. Yes, that plays a part, but it starts within if you're actually talking about an identity switch, not just, cosplay, so to speak. So you need to be able to identify exactly who you want to become. Who do you want to be? Why do you want to be this person? What benefits are you going to get from this person? Like, how would your life change? This goes as a whole. Like, what do you look like? What do your friends look like? What does your career look like? What do your partners look like? What do you drive? Like, things of that nature. When you become this person, what would your life look like? What would your life essentially look like? And then you want to go into the next thing is, the next thing would be, once you identify who this is, and I mean go actually in depth. Who is this person? What does this person look like, feel like? How do they communicate? How do they love? What type of this goes to personality, is more than just the aesthetic. So when you go into depth about this, then the next thing, which is the hardest part for most people, is acknowledging what is required for you to become that person. So we're gonna sit with this for a second, but 1 is identifying who you want to become, and then 2 is acknowledging what is required to become that person. So we're going to sit here for a second, and we're going to talk about what is required for you to be the person that you have to be, and how to actually achieve that goal. So I can only tell you what I've done. I can only speak my truth. Oh. Hey, I don't like when my jewelry be doing this. I mean, it doesn't do it often, but that's the reason why I don't like it, because I've literally had this on all day. And okay. Acknowledging what is required for you to identity switch. For you to become the person that you want to be, it requires you to have a certain level of discipline. It requires you to actually be dedicated to the change. And that requires you to know exactly why you want to be this person. Are you wanting to change who you are for other people to like you? Are you going to, and I would hope that that's not your reasoning, because as long as you like you, that's all that matters. Like, do not, I repeat, please do not do in a completely identity switch out of revenge. Don't do it out of you wanting to prove a point to somebody else. Don't do it because you want other people to like you. Do it because that's something that you want to do. Do it because you do not like the results that you are producing as the person that you are. So you want to be somebody else so that you could produce better results. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason why you should be identity switching, because anything else out of that, it wouldn't serve you the same way. Like, you can switch up your look. Like I said, you can switch up your look all the time. Like that doesn't change who you are as a person. Anybody could switch up their look, but if you want to switch your identity, it requires you to be a different person. It's not just switching your face on your ID. You have to become a different person. So for me, the main things that happened in my identity switch, I would start at 2021. But the main things that happened with my identity switch is, for one, I didn't even know that I was switching my identity. I didn't really go into it with the intention of, oh, I want to be somebody different. My intentions really were to, produce better outcomes. Like, I know I consider myself very lazy. I'm very much so a procrastinator. I am, I was, somebody who did not manage money well, somebody who, just make the money, get it right back type of mentality, somebody who was very aggressive, not very soft natured when it comes to dating and things of that nature. And then I noticed that, and this was in 2020, but I noticed that, I didn't like the results that I was producing from doing that. Like, I had been in business, I wasn't making the numbers that I wanted to make. I didn't like, I had been vegan for a few years, but I wasn't liking how my body actually looked. Like the health wise, I still hadn't healed anything. I was just eating cleaner, but I hadn't actually cleansed and healed anything. And then I also didn't like, because I never really had any problems with anybody, like how they looked at me, like, because I'm a vibe, so not on no cocky shit, but it's not too many people who don't like me. So it wasn't that I wanted to appear as something different, and I've never been uncomfortable in my skin. So everything that I was doing was typically because I wanted to produce better results that I was already producing. Some of the things that I ended up doing was I wanted to be somebody who was actually healing. I wanted to reverse my gallstones. Flush my gallstones and reverse my alopecia. Those were the two things that I'm still working on right now, but that on that journey is what got me to actually cleansing 30, 60, 90 days of cleansing, just no water, no food, just cleansing, juice cleansing, getting heavy on my herbs. I wanted to be somebody who was a master teacher. I'm still developing it in that way, but being a master teacher required me at the beginning of the year, from not even the beginning of the year, the end of 2020, from October up until today, I have been going live every single day on multiple platforms. Like, not now, like I don't go live on multiple platforms at a time, but every single day I'm going live on one of my platforms every single day. So that taught me discipline. That taught me, I went months, like I'm not a early riser whatsoever. I'd be up to like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But it taught me at the beginning, I'm still trying to become someone who wakes up early. But with all that being said, is literally the discipline, the things that we do not want to do the most. Those are the things that's gonna try us and make us become the person that we want to be. Because the only thing that's stopping you from being who you are right now, stopping you from becoming the person that you want to be, is the decisions that you make every single day. If you are not disciplined, and discipline is on a very broad spectrum, like being disciplined in anything will help you with your discipline. You don't have to do a certain thing. You don't have to be disciplined in being vegan. You don't have to be disciplined in fasting. You don't have to be disciplined in posting every day, but you do need to be disciplined in something, because if you are not disciplined in something, you're not going to switch over, because it takes a level of discipline. It takes a level of self-awareness, and it takes a level of commitment for you to be able to switch into this next identity. If you are tired of producing the same results, like if you are tired of dating the same type of people with different names and different shoes, then it's going to require you to look within self and say, why am I attracting these type of people? One thing that I learned on this journey was, I used to always look homeless, y'all, and I say that all the time. I used to always look homeless because I am somebody who don't really care about, like, if I need to pop out, I'll pop out. Don't get me wrong. If I want to pop out, I will pop out. But I was somebody who did not do much. I still don't really do much, but on a daily basis, I'm not doing too much. But I used to go outside, like, in like my muumuu. I'll go outside with like a bonnet on. I will go outside and like, my slippers or whatever, like running to Walmart or something. Like, I just didn't really care. And then it wasn't until one of my mentors was like, you know, I was just the person like, oh, as long as my nails are done, I'm good. Like, I don't care how homeless I look. As long as my nails are done, we good. Like, know that I'm not, you know, in distress as long as my nails are done. And she was like, look at the people that you are. Cause my mom was, you know, I ain't missing no beats. Like, you know, I ain't stopping me from getting nobody that I wanted to bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why do I have to do all of this? Like, what am I doing all of this for? Just to go to the grocery store, just to go run errands. Like, why do I need to do all of this? And she said to me, shout out to Candace Holyfield. But she said to me, she was like, when you are producing, when you are showing up and producing, representing yourself as homelessness or looking like a bum or looking like you don't care about yourself, you are training people to treat you that way. So when I went back and I was like, yeah, you know, it ain't stopped me from getting nobody. Like, I get who I want to get. Like, it ain't stopped me from, you know. She was like, but what is the quality of the men that you are attracting? What quality men are you attracting, and what is their personality? Like, I was attracting a lot of men who was either bums, and I'm just like, the audacity, but is it really the audacity when I look like you? And then I was attracting guys. When I started to adjust this, I started to track guys who were, who might have been like, had money or whatever, but they also looked at me as somebody who needed them to save me. Like I needed them to save me, or I looked at them like, oh, I can treat her any kind of way. Like, I literally had a guy tell me that I looked like, I was a single mother. And I was like, what the fuck does a single mother look like? Like, what does a single mother look like? And he was like, he just couldn't answer the question, but he just kept repeating himself like, yeah, I just thought she was a single mom. I thought she was a single mom. What he meant by that was, I thought you needed help. I thought you looked like somebody who was struggling, so I was gonna come through, give you the bare minimum, and try to impress you with a couple $100 dinners and stuff like that. I thought I could impress you by doing the bare minimum because you looked like you needed saving. That's what he meant by that. So when I started to switch this up, when I started to make sure I'm presentable every time I leave the house, I stopped getting people hitting on me all the time. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it whatsoever, because I'd rather have no attention than the wrong attention, right? So I wasn't mad at it, but I was definitely aware of, okay, so that's why, you know, I didn't have a problem. They was always, you know, knocking on my door every time I pull up looking crazy, because they looking at me as, oh, she don't want much, so I ain't got to get her much. She don't want much. I mean, obviously, when they get to me, that don't be the case. But you know, they would be gone within a couple of days once they see that I'm not that. So I was just like, dang, like, what am I doing? And she was like, yeah, you're not showing up as somebody who got standards. You're not showing up as somebody who has high standards, or somebody who, you know, ain't taking the bare minimum. You're not showing up in that way. So when I started to show up in that way, you know, I'm not saying I don't get nobody looking at me or whatnot, but it's different. It's very different, and it's not as frequent. And I don't want to say that to you, like, if you were somebody who was an attention chaser, then continue to do whatever you're doing. But if you are somebody who actually wants to change the attention that you are getting to be valuable relationships, whether that be friends, whether that be romantic relationships, whatever the case is, business partners or whatever, you need to present yourself, your best self, frequently. Anytime you leave out of your house, or even when you in your house, what type of vibes are you creating? If you are somebody who wants to be more feminine, if you are somebody who wants to be more nurturing, the identity switch for you to become more feminine, I always say, get a plant or 5. You know, house plants are the quickest way for you to tap into your feminine energy. House plants, and I just did this. If you guys are not in my Rebirth Society, get in the Rebirth Society. Click the link in my bios, or I had it in my description. Sorry, I'm still new. Click the link down in the description. Every single week, every single Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I train women around the world to be certified Yoni Steam Practitioners. I've trained over 200 women under my leadership and certified over 200 women. This year alone, in 2022, I've serviced over 200 women to be Yoni Steam Practitioners and get their certifications. And once you complete that free course, because it is absolutely free, once you complete that free course, then you have access to my Rebirth Society. So everybody in my Rebirth Society has taken and graduated my course. But if you want to come in my Rebirth Society, It's lit, y'all. I do every daily trainings on, it's lit. Just get in. But anywho's, in my Rebirth Society, I was just talking about, like, I did a medicine woman checklist. And in that checklist, this is pretty much everything that you have in your house that pretty much amplifies the feminine energy in the home, the nurturing energy in the home, the sacred energy in the home. And one of those main things that I tell women all the time, if you are struggling tapping into your feminine energy, get some plants. Be able to nurture something that does not physically talk to you, so that you can, or verbally talk to you, so that you can learn how to connect with something without them telling you. Once you learn how to connect with nature, excuse me, once you learn how to connect with nature in that way, then you won't necessarily feel the need to be so aggressive or need somebody to tell you certain things. You'll be able to read the room. You'll be able to, nurture things without things being spoken to you or somebody asking you for certain things. And that's all feminine energy anyway. But yeah, knowing what is required of you to be this person. If you want a lot more money, you want bigger bank accounts, you want to be have a bigger audience on social media, it's going to require you to be consistent in posting. It's going to require you to, get some mentorship. It may require you to make some investments, to sacrifice your savings and things like that. Get some financial literacy. Those things may be required. So what does it require for you to be this person? The next thing, number 3, that we're going to talk about on how to identity switch is, this is something that's more spiritual, I want to say. But this is what I call a talk with yourself. So if you guys are, I don't know if any of you guys are, if you are familiar with astral projection or, having out of body experiences, if you are that person, then this will be easy for you. But pretty much what this essentially is you going within, you meditating to a point where you are outside of your body and you are asking your future self, how did you become so successful? How did you become so beautiful? How did you become so soft? How did you become so nurturing? How did you become so funny? How did you become so fly? Like, you're asking yourself, like, how did you bag this man? How did you have all these beautiful children? How did you become a healer? Like, what you are putting yourself out there, your higher self, because this is something that's already inside of you. You are putting your higher self outside of you, and you ask yourself, if you are not somebody who's good with astral projection, you still can accomplish this by journaling. So when you are talking to self, when you are meditating, you could journal, you could meditate, whatever you do, you can also do this without actually having the full out-of-body experience. But the out-of-body experience makes shit work real fast. So you want to still essentially, that you're talking to your higher self or your future self, and you're visualizing this person as you're writing, as you're meditating, and it's essentially the same thing. It doesn't have to be an out-of-body experience, but you meditate on the person that you see, the future you meditate on that person. And then you just ask this person, like, hey, how the hell did you get so fly? How did you get, this successful? What did you have to do to get there? And this is how you now start to also take back your autonomy, your self-control, your decisions. Because a lot of people, we ask people a lot of things about ourselves, but nobody knows you better than you. Your parents don't know you better than you know yourself. Like, nobody knows you better than you. So why not ask your future self, how did you get there? Like, how did she get to where she is? You want to ask yourself that, and I promise you guys, the answers are gonna come. So number 4, this is the last thing and the most important thing, and that is showing up every single day as the person that you desire to be. If you want to be whatever it is that you want to be, you need to show up as much as you can every single day as that person. If you want to be more fashionable, you want to take more time getting dressed every day, like put in the little pieces that you do. You might not have a closet full of new clothes and things like that, but how can you recycle the clothes that you currently have to, put a little bit of sauce on it so it looks new, or that it looks more fashionable. If you're somebody who wants to beat your face, or be somebody who wants to, know how to do makeup or wear makeup often, present yourself that way, do a little eye, do a little lip, just occasionally, just to get in the practice of putting makeup into your routine. If you are somebody who wants to be an educator, if you want somebody to have some type of leadership, or, you know, be a business owner, you need to be studying every single day. You need to be managing your money. You need to learn how to budget. You need to learn how to save. Those are the things that's going to make you successful in the business era. But essentially, this is you showing up every single day as the person that you want to be. You're not still doing those exact same habits every single day and saying, I want to be. That's insanity. You cannot continue to do what you're doing every day. And this does not mean for you to just every day just is multiple aspects of yourself. When it comes to identity switching, it's multiple aspects of yourself that's going to die off, and it's multiple aspects of yourself that are going to be reborn. That does not mean you have to do everything at one time. Take one task at a time. Once you master that task, go to the next one. If you're trying to wake up early, see how, you know, focus just on rising early every day. Like, focus on that. If you want to be somebody who practices prayer every day, set you some alarms. I know I did this when I was learning how to, and I'm still struggling with that, or I still I'm practicing to achieve that, being somebody who prays 3 times a day. And I set alarms every single day that go off at different times out of the day, so that I can stop what I'm doing and just praying. That's something that I essentially do. But sometimes my schedule be off and I'm out in Walmart somewhere and I don't stop. And my goal is it don't matter where I'm at, I stop and pray. So that's one way that you can do it. But essentially, you are just becoming slowly but surely the person that you want to be. Consistency is key with anything. If you want to see success in anything, you just have to be consistent, doing it over and over and over. Y'all, after you do something for 30 days, it's pretty much embedded in you. After you get to 30 days and you go to 90 days, it is pretty much set in stone. Like, you will have to try harder to go back to where you were than to stay where you are, than to stay where you currently have gotten. Like, you have to actually force yourself to go back eating bad. If you've done a 30-day cleanse, you would have to force yourself to start back eating pork after you haven't had pork in like a year. Like, you will be forcing yourself to torture yourself in that way. So you just have to be mindful of the intentions of everything that you're doing, from the foods that you're eating, the things that you're watching. If you want to be somebody who is more self-aware, like, spend more time with self. Like, you can't be more self-aware with everybody else telling you who you are, what you do, what you need to be doing, all the other stuff. If you want to be more self-aware, you have to sit with self. You have to spend time alone. You have to learn how to love solitude. Those are some of the things that I did when it came to me identity switching. Again, I wish I knew how to stitch a picture so y'all could see like how I looked in January of 2022 as I am today. Like, when I say it's a completely different, and y'all, we just getting started. Like, timestamp this or whatever, next year around this time, I would completely look different completely, because I am still leveling up. Okay, I am not done with my transformation. But as you grow, as you develop mentally, spiritually, and physically, it's going to show on the outside. You do not have to force the outside. The outside is nothing. The outside is for other people. The inside is for you. So check your ego when it comes to why you're identity switching. If you feel like just switching your hair up, or I want to start getting shorties instead of y'all. I got the shorties right now, but that's only because I messed up my pinky. But I usually got some grippers. Okay, I usually got the grippers. I could say, you know, I want to do the shorties, and this is a different identity. That's not how it works. Like, that's just a character, okay? Like, that's just a mask, okay? But that's not who I am at the core. When your identity switches at the core, your habits change, your decisions change, like how you make decisions change, how you treat people change, how you communicate change. Once you've done some healing, a lot of that is going to change automatically, and then the outside will do nothing but replicate the work that you've been doing on the inside. All right, so thank you guys for watching this. Make sure y'all hit a thumbs up, drop some comments down. Drop some purple hearts down in the comments if you're watching this on a replay, and that if you got any information from this, if you're going to try any of this, if you've ever done an identity switch or you're interested in it, drop it down in the comments. Let me know. I do read my comments, you guys, so let me know if this was helpful for you, so I can make more content like this and share it with somebody else, you know, who you might want to be doing it with one of your homegirls. Y'all leveling up together. Share this content with anybody who might need it. But again, thank you guys so much. Make sure that y'all are subscribed, because there's plenty more videos where this came from, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.